And we are back on the Rodriguez Show here on Hits 101 Radio, and we have a very special guest. She is from a lot of different places. She's a singer-guitarist from Taco Sauce and Juju Fontaine from Tucson, Arizona. Right now in Seattle, it's GatMoony. How's it going?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. AKA Gabby Montoya. Yeah, so right now you're going by GatMoony. That's your genreless solo project that you're running out of Seattle, right?
Yeah. So I decided to go by that moniker since I've been doing my solo music. Since Gabby is a very common name that's on Spotify. There's a million Gabbies and Gabriellas. So
Yeah.
I did a weird little moniker for this one.
Yeah. Well, it stands out and it's a cool name, just so you know. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
So we'll plug the new single right away, Wish I Woulda, and you can go to Bandcamp for that single, or you go to Linktree/GatMoony. That's where you'll get links to everything, Instagram, basically everything you think of is there. That way it's an easy place everybody can go to. And today is Bandcamp Friday, so for a new single you released, Wish I Woulda, right?
Yeah, I'm exclusively releasing it on Bandcamp for Bandcamp Friday, which is a really good way to support musicians right now because we get 100% of all the profits and you can pay whatever you want. So if you're I'm in love with you, I want to give you $1,000, I get all of it on Bandcamp Friday. So
there you go. So yeah, we've been they've started this last year and it's a really cool thing that they're doing. So we'll talk about the single, but first, because it's your first time here, I always ask people how they got started. So where did the initial love of music come from?
I think I just generally always loved different art mediums growing up. And I think I was probably when I was in church that I started, I finally had the opportunity to be on stage and be on the worship band.
Yeah.
And that led to me going to a Christian university and being trained in music. And, I'm an atheist now,
Yeah.
but it was fully church that got me into music and gave me the ability to learn how to perform on stage. And I learned different instruments over the years, like guitar and piano, and that gave me the ability to start writing my own songs. But yeah, pretty much since high school I've just been writing and recording music as often as I could.
Yeah, and you did mention that you went to Christian university and now you're an atheist. You've had a whole long experiences, so many different experiences in your life, right?
It's been a long, crazy journey for me as a person and a musician, but I'm an atheist now.
So how did all these groups form, like Juju Fontaine and then Taco Sauce?
So as you know, I lived in Orange County for a while. That was where I met you. And after college, I just randomly moved to Tucson. I'm from New Mexico originally, but I just decided to move to Tucson and kind of started fresh there. And it took me a while to kind of feel out the music scene. And so I just started doing open mics and just trying to get out there and perform as much as I could. And eventually I met people and I formed Juju Fontaine, and we were just performing all the time. And we went through some band changes, and I was I don't know if I'm gonna have this band anymore because I lost, I had to fire some member, a member who went crazy and was kind of verbally abusive to me and terrifying.
Wow.
So I fired him, and I was what am I gonna do? I'm not gonna have a band. And I was I've always wanted a girl punk band, and I had written songs just for fun. And finally, that was when I was all right, I'm just gonna put it together. And I just put out a call on social media. And I found a couple musicians. We clicked, and within a few months, we were playing shows just constantly. We practiced for a few months, and then after that, up until the pandemic, it was just at least a show a week. It was crazy. So yeah, I had a lot of fun doing music in Tucson.
Yeah, I was following you throughout the whole time, and it did seem like it just took off, and you were playing with Taco Sauce everywhere. And the music is great. You can find both those bands on all platforms, all streaming, wherever you find your streaming. So one of the things that you talk about in the new single, Wish I Woulda, is the place you live. Like you said, you spent some time in California. But before we talk about that for a second, so what do you think that living in all these different cities has shown you about people?
I think I mean, you know the saying, like, wherever you go, there you are. It's like, first of all, it shows me that, like, I can't run away from myself.
Yeah.
Like, every time, like, that was my first time really getting away from home. But I mean, everywhere you go, it's like, there, you know, people are eventually turn out to be, like, more or less the same. You find your communities, some
Yeah.
places more than others. Like, you know, like, this is my first, here living in, like, Seattle, it's my first time, like, living somewhere kind of nice and, like,
Yeah.
kind of being able to afford it, like, the first time in my life. And I'm like, everybody is nice. And I'm like, oh, it's because they have money. It's easy to not be shitty when,
Yeah.
like, your life is good. Like,
Yeah.
common sense, you know, because I've been, like, poor my whole life. And I was like, oh, why is that? Like, why was Tucson so shitty? And it's like, when you're poor and when your community doesn't offer you any opportunities, it's really hard to, like, be, like, a chill person and just,
Yeah.
like, enjoy your life. I know that seems like common sense, but it just, like occurred to me because I had never been in the position to just, like, relax a little bit and, like,
Yeah.
enjoy being a musician. Like, this is the first time I've ever had time to, like, do music. But yeah, like when I first moved to, like, Orange County, like, for college, and was just like, oh, I'm gonna, like, move to the big city and get away from home, and I'm gonna be so cool, and, like, people are gonna accept me there, and
Yeah.
that's not what happened.
No.
Nobody cared. I wasn't cool. I, like, had a hard time, like, fitting in and finding, like, friend groups, and, like, you know, it's like going somewhere new doesn't, like, always, like, you know, sometimes it changes things for you a little
Yeah.
bit, but, like, being in a better environment always helps. But
Yeah.
just that's mainly, like, what inspired that song was, like, moving somewhere new and
Yeah.
realizing that, like, you know, the grass isn't greener.
And you talk about, you know, there's specific places in Wish I Woulda that you, so do you look back on your time? So now that, like you said, you have time to make music. So now when you're writing these songs, you look back in times, like past times of your life, and you reflect on it, like you did in this
Yeah.
song when you were in California, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's like a time in my life that I find myself reflecting on a lot because, like, the song is called Wish I Woulda. Like, there's things I wish I would have done and a lot of things I wish I wouldn't have, but
Yeah.
it's like I can't think of any different way that things would have gone for me, you know? Like, at some point I would have had those urges in my life that I, like, needed to fulfill and then needed to find out they, like, weren't fulfilling.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, like the journey you take just ultimately makes you who you are. So it's like, why regret any of that, you know?
Yeah, and it's like a time in my life that I can't quite, like, wrap my brain around just because, like it was supposed to be, like, such a great, like, happy formative time in my life, and, like, on paper when I tell people, like, what I did, they're like, awesome, and I was like, no, I was miserable. Like, I
Yeah.
got married at 20 and I, like, just didn't fit into this place where I thought I would be, like, a cool Cali girl, and,
Yeah.
like, I was miserable.
Yeah. Well, it's good that you've moved around and you find somewhere you're comfortable now. And like we talked about, the single "Wish I Would" is very reflective, introspective, and so are the other singles as well. Is that the plan, just to continue to release singles, or you're working towards a project?
So, of this, like, trio of singles, like, first I released East Side, and then it
Hmm.
was this one, Wish I Woulda, and then I have one more that I'm gonna release. If there's another Bandcamp Friday, it'll be on that. But there's one more out of this trio that I recorded that I'm gonna release as a single.
Hmm.
And I do plan on releasing an album hopefully by the end of this year or, like, the beginning of next year. But just this is my first time really, like, releasing music as a solo artist, so I've just wanted to kind of, like, I've released a lot of things I recorded myself, just random demos that I've recorded myself, and I'm just kind of trying to feel it out, like, feel out which direction I want to go before I, like, commit to a sound and, like,
Yeah.
record an album. So yeah, I'm just gonna see, like, how the reception is for, like, these next couple singles, and then kind of feel out which direction I'm gonna go for there, but definitely hoping for an album by the end of the year.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting, and we'll look out for all the singles that you'll be releasing, especially the third one in this trilogy. And so now, so I've seen kind of some of the videos you posted about, you know, making music now, after the pandemic. You're in Seattle. Where do you
Mhm.
make music now?
My room, just been in my little, I'm in my, like, little studio in the
Yeah.
back room of the house. And I've basically, like, even in my old house, I had my own, like, little music room. And I've just found most of my time being kind of penned up in there, trying to be creative when I can, kind
Yeah.
of just going stir crazy sometimes because I would rather be doing like literally anything else out in the world than just being locked up at home.
Yeah.
But you know, it's been enjoyable, like having this time just being here in my room, not having to like work, get ready to like play shows. I've just been recording, like learning how to self-record at like
Yeah.
higher qualities, and that's mainly what I've been focusing on, is like writing and recording myself.
Well, that's cool. Yeah. I mean, I feel like, yeah, this time kind of showed us all how to adapt to different ways of doing things. And now a year in, I feel like we can, grow these methods even better, because you can make music at home, but you also can go back to the studio.
Yeah, and it's been good because like I never had a reason to like release any of my self-recorded music because I was worried it was like low quality. But now it's like I have to, like, because I can't
You can't do it. You can't go to the
because
studio.
none of them are open, so people can't give me shit if I like release my songs and they're like kind of low quality. It's like, well, she was doing her best. She had to do it at home. That's been like a bright side, if you could call it like a bright side of like a horrible pandemic. I don't know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Let's talk about. Let's play the songs. Let's stop talking about the songs. We'll start with. Or should we start with East Side or Wish I Woulda? Which would you prefer?
Wish I Woulda. I've heard East Side too much.
Okay, so we're starting with Wish I Woulda, and we're gonna play some more songs by GatMoony. Gabby, thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. And when you drop another one, we'll play it on the show as well, and hopefully, in the future we'll do something in person.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, let's get back into the music on The Rodriguez Show. Take it away, Mondo.